Hey y'all, I'm Heather and welcome to my channel, The Debt Free Quilter. Now, a lot of you have seen my Blessing Box live stream that was not too long ago. Well, now I'm working my way through that and organizing and weeding out some things that I'm going to donate or are not large enough or are weirdly shaped that I'm just not going to have a use for. The little stuff goes in the trash, the bigger stuff goes to donations. So let's get started with that. Okay, if you did not see my Blessing Box live stream, a blessing box is when a person or a group of people get together and literally throw fabric in a box to bless someone with. In this case, it was a large box. I'm not going to lie. This was a diaper box stuffed full of fabric and patterns and a seam guide and a few other handy tools that people either had to didn't want anymore or just had no use for. So in this case, it ends up with me. In this section, I'm going through all the larger pieces of fabric, and they have all been washed and they are now being pressed and refolded so they will fit somewhere in my stash. And now that I've got the big stuff done, it's time to look at the smaller stuff. That tote is where all of it went because as much as I love you guys, I did not want that box in my house any longer, and I found another use for it temporarily. So as I go through this box, you can see I'm separating by size and by strip length and by, I don't know, wonkiness. I have small squares, I have triangles, I have wonky rectangles, I have strips, and I have weird pieces that stuff was cut out of, and I don't want to get into that. But we're just going to fold it nicely and find a place to put it so that I can use it and find it later. And here we are again, focusing on going through things, separating things, measuring when I have to. Once again, that little pile over there at the bottom of the green triangle is going to be in the trash because honestly, it's too small, it has a stain on it, or it's just too small. I'm also taking this time to separate batik fabrics, of which there are several, and regular quilting cottons. That way I can put them in different areas or different boxes so that I know what's where. I also make a pile of smaller strips and rectangles that could be cut down into squares fairly easily, as opposed to a pile with just strips in it. I also keep strips that are 1 inch or larger. The 1 inch strip is the literal smallest number that I keep because I can use that for a very skinny sashing. I'm also finding and setting aside pre-made blocks like that 9 patch over there, that I can use in something or make something else out of. For this one, I did not feel like digging my seam ripper out, so I just did it with scissors. That was 2 pieces of fabric sewn together that were not the same size, so better to just cut it apart and fiddle with it later. There were a lot of squares in this box. Just saying. All right, I am in the home stretch of getting this box completely gone through. That bag was one of my favorite parts of this. It had a bunch of strips of grunge that are 2.5 inches. Yeah, that made me really happy. This bag was another one of my favorites. It had a bunch of 5-inch squares, some 4.5-inch squares, and a few more strip pieces in there. And this is the last bag, full of 1.5-inch squares and a few not quite 1.5-inch squares, but they were close. And now that everything has been gone through, I'm going to put away all of the smaller things that I can, and all the bigger things are going to go into my closet. All right, and there you have it. I have finished going through that blessing box. Everything has been sorted, pressed, put away, or donated. Because there were some things that I know I'm not going to use, so I put them in a donation bag to go to someone who will. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Have a great week. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye.